I would like to start with Anthony because, well, with the case of Randy, it's clear. Juilliard School of Music. Who's never heard of Juilliard School of Music? And then Eastman School of Music in Rochester. They are very good schools, so that's why they went there. They applied, and then they were accepted. But then you are in Sibelius Academy in Finland, and of course, because I live in Europe, I know the quality of Sibelius Academy, which is now one of the best schools of music conservatory in Europe and maybe in the world. And of course, you know, Finland has Jean Sibelius and now composers like Magnus Lindberg, Esa-Pekka Salonen. So Finland is producing the greatest composers of our time now. But how do you know, you come from Magelang, how do you know Sibelius Academy and why do you want to go there? And it's cold, and there's no gado-gado and nasi goreng and everything. Why?
Oh, I love the cold weather actually.
Yeah, you like the cold weather.
Yeah, but first of all, because I already met my teacher in the festival 1 year before I came to Finland.
Who is your teacher?
His name is Teppo Koivisto, and he's now the teacher that teach me for my master degree. And also the school has great facilities, and a lot of great people graduated from the Sibelius Academy. And also I guess because Sibelius Academy offers us a full scholarship, not to some people, but to everyone who got accepted to the school, they got a full scholarship from the school.
Ah, yeah, so you have a full scholarship, yeah?
Yeah, exactly.
School. Oh, bravo. Yes. Okay, so, well, about the music now. Let's start with Randy. I want to ask all of you, your choice of music. Why do you play, well, Scriabin is not very well known here in Indonesia, but anyway, you live in the United States, and of course, Scriabin is as well known as Rachmaninoff, Tchaikovsky, and everything. But why? Why Scriabin? Why Sonata Number 3?
Well, this is my first Scriabin that I've ever played before, and I had mixed feelings about him at first, but I find him to be really charming and very personal to me because the way he wrote his music is very. It gives a lot of freedom for the musician itself, so that each performer who played Scriabin is very different. No one is ever the same. I think it's very personal to me. Like I can bring out whatever emotion I want to it.
And do you feel if you play here now and then you play next week somewhere else, so it will be different, or what?
Well, different as in like in each pianist who plays it and.
Right.
Well, the way it's written is not very conventional, so yeah.
Okay. Yes, but anyway, in fact, Scriabin, as you know, he's very much influenced by Chopin, Frédéric Chopin. Yeah. Chopin was also very expressive and free, and I think he's just a Russian Chopin. Shall we say that? Or
you could. I mean, it's with Scriabin. You can consider him like with two different genres. The first one is the late romantic style that is hugely inspired by Chopin, but like his later music is very much atonal, like towards the 21st century composers.
That's when his real Scriabin.
Yes. I mean, this sonata is actually the last one that he wrote in the late romantic style. Like after that, the fourth one is already very much atonal and very weird.
Very weird. Yeah. Yes. Okay. And you're playing Poulenc, and later you're going to perform Debussy, yeah? And well, just to remind you that next year is the 100th anniversary of Debussy's death. He died in 1918, so next year we'll celebrate it. So are you? Well, in fact, now I remember you're going to perform also with a saxophonist next month.
Yes.
Well, talk about that first before you talk about
Talk
Debussy.
about that first? Okay.
Yeah.
So I somehow, the more that I study music, I get more and more fascinated with the idea of French music. And I think the reason for that is because when I was younger, we don't really play a lot of French music, surprisingly, growing up. And then we
You mean
always
growing up in Indonesia or
well,
in?
I mean, everywhere, to be honest. It's just like even when I was in China for high school to do music, and then even during my undergraduate years in United States, I don't really play a lot of French music. And for a while, I don't really quite know why. And but then the more that I kind of listen to it, I think there's a certain subtlety that is needed to play French music. You have to cultivate your ears, and then you have to really listen way more in order to like really grasp the idea of nuances and colors in music. And I think that's probably wise for my teachers to not give me French music when I was still young, because probably I need to improve my musicality, I guess, in so many ways, before I'm ready to actually approach that type of music. But now it's becoming one of my favorite pieces to listen to and to play, and not only for solo, as Ananda was telling me, because I have a saxophonist friend who's actually coming over here from United States. He is a friend of mine, a colleague of mine in Eastman School of Music. And then we're presenting a recital here in Jakarta in July 4th in Institut Français.
Institut Français d'Indonésie,
Yes.
IFI.
It's the one in Tamrin. And then we're going to play a lot of French music, actually. We're going to play some more Poulenc. We're going to play some De Crook and...
Couplet?
yeah, Couplet. Yeah, that's the third
André
one.
Couplet, yeah.
Yes. And then so, well, if any of you are in Jakarta, I would really like to see you there.
4th of July, that's the Independence Day.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, but yeah, that's pretty much the reason why I enjoy playing French music a lot right now. And for the recording as well, the reason that I picked Image actually was because I have to present a lecture recital as a part of my doctorate degree requirement in Eastman School of Music. And they ask us to be original. And I don't know what that means, to be original, especially in the field of music where there is a lot of research that has been done. And everybody kind of plays everything, and everybody writes about everything. So I figured the easiest way to think about how to be original is to see who I am as a person. And I am an Indonesian pianist living in United States, doing a degree in United States. So I kind of try to bridge that idea of art music, the Western art music, with Indonesian music. Is there any connection there? Because it goes from somewhere that I know for sure. I was born here, I was raised here, and then it's something that I study, which is the Western art music, which is why the reason Debussy Image comes to mind, because Debussy was very fascinated with Indonesian gamelan. In so many ways, it's just like I try to find that connection between Indonesia and Western art music, and Debussy seems to be the link to that. And so in the Image, granted the music is still very much French, but it is influenced, I guess, in so many ways with Indonesian music. And I find it to be interesting. And so in that way, I kind of want to present that juxtaposed with Ananda's music. So then it's a little bit of Indonesian music that is clearly influenced by the West. I think a lot of your music is, you know, the way that you write and all of this kind of stuff is clearly a show of what he learned during his studies, and then what Debussy takes from Indonesian music. So I think that's kind of a really nice connection there. So that's the reason why.
Okay, thank you. And Anthony, Sibelius, it's quite obvious, but you want to say?
Yeah, for obvious reason, because I live in Finland, and and when I lived there, I got the opportunity to get to know about his music even better. Because, you know, Sibelius is very famous with his orchestral piece, like his symphony is very famous. But sadly, the piano music doesn't receive so much exposure. So I kind of want to feel to introduce and bring the Sibelius music to people outside Finland, especially here in Indonesia. Yeah.
Okay, and how much are the influence of your teachers in choosing your music? I mean, did you choose your pieces yourself, or I mean, well, maybe now you can listen to YouTube, but you know, Sibelius, which one you want to play and everything. But how much is the influence of your teacher? Because your teacher is Finnish.
He's Finnish, yeah.
Yeah, and the repertoire, for example, did you choose your repertoire and not only about Sibelius, but about your repertoire in general?
Yeah, but I mean for Sibelius, my teacher gave me a lot of freedom, but obviously he also gave me some advice which one to pick. But also by coincidence, I am preparing for one of the competition in Finland, which I happen to have to play these Sibelius pieces.